Every species has war stories, tales of bravery, tales of sacrifice, tales of chaos. But only one species has stories so terrifying that even trained soldiers, war-born, hardened, fearless, refuse to speak of them at night. Humans. They were newcomers to the Galactic Union. Small, soft-skinned, always smiling, always joking, always acting as though the universe were a playground. But when the war with the Vrax Dominion ignited, the Union learned the truth carved into old veterans like a scar. Human warfare is not merely conflict. It is evolution under fire. This is a recollection of retired shock trooper Carvex, one of the few alien soldiers who fought alongside humans and lived to tell the tale. Chapter 1. The First Human Unit. Carvex remembered the day they arrived. A drop shuttle opened, and out marched a squad of human soldiers, laughing, on a battlefield. Carvex nearly dropped his rifle. Are you not afraid? He asked them. A human named Morales grinned. Nah, we've seen worse. Worse? Carvex had fought Vrax berserkers. He had watched cities melt under plasma fire. He had witnessed planetary glassing. What could possibly be worse? He would soon learn. Chapter 2. The Trench. The Vrax assault came at dusk. Thousands of insectoid warriors charging across the wasteland. Carvex felt fear coil in his stomach. The humans? They were arguing about snacks. You've eaten all the chocolate again. Dude, you left it in my pack. It's still MY chocolate. Carvex's jaw dropped. Vrax shrieks filled the air. Artillery screamed overhead. The ground trembled. Morales finally noticed Carvex staring and shrugged. It's okay. We'll deal with them. Carvex sputtered. There are 3,000. Yeah, Morales said, loading his gun. That's like medium difficulty. Then the humans climbed out of the trench. Voluntarily, Carvex whispered a prayer. Chapter 3. The Rage Switch. The humans charged, not in panic, not in fear, but with a kind of ferocious joy that Carvex had never seen. They fired with precision. They moved with purpose. They shouted to each other mid-battle like it was a training exercise. Carvex saw Morales get knocked down by a Vrax brute. The alien warrior raised its blade. Humans screamed, not in fear, but in rage. Carvex felt something ancient awaken as he watched them. Human anger was not wild, not chaotic, not undisciplined. It was focused, a biological weapon. 5 humans swarmed the brute, dragging Morales away, cutting down enemies with a cold fury that made even the Vrax recoil. Carvex whispered, By the stars, what are they? Chapter 4. The Night Stories. That night, around a dim campfire, Carvex heard them speak of human history. Not with pride, not with shame, with resignation, as if it was simply the truth of their world. Morales cleaned his rifle while telling a story about ancient Earth armies charging each other across muddy fields for 12 straight hours. Another human described cities reduced to ash long before space travel existed. Another spoke of weapons that could split continents, built before humanity even left their own moon. And the worst part? They told these stories casually. Carvex trembled. Your species survived all of that. A woman named Hale looked at him, confused. Survived? Carvex. We cause it. Carvex did not sleep that night. Chapter 5. The Human Resilience. The war pushed into harsher terrain. Acid rain. Freezing nights. Heat so intense it warped metal. Carvex struggled. The humans adapted. They used terrain that Carvex considered lethal. They improvised tools out of scrap. They marched miles after injuries that should have immobilized them. One human walked calmly into the med station with a broken arm dangling and said, Hey, Doc, this thing's pointing in the wrong direction. Carvex nearly fainted. How are you standing? The human shrugged. I've had worse. Had worse? What was worse than your arm hanging loose? Carvex would later learn about human sports. He screamed when he did. Chapter 6. The most terrifying human weapon. It wasn't their guns. It wasn't their armor. It wasn't their strategy. It was their morale. When cornered, other species broke. Humans didn't. They laughed harder. They fought harder. They became more dangerous. During one siege, when they were nearly encircled, a human whispered, "Well, could be worse." Worse! Carvex yelled, "We are surrounded on all sides." "Yeah," the human grinned, "saves us the trouble of finding them." Carvex decided on that day that humans were not a species. They were a natural disaster wearing body armor. Chapter 7. The Last Stand at Doan's Ridge. This was the moment Carvex understood why humans were feared. 10,000 Vrax warriors charged the ridge. Carvex's platoon had 50 soldiers left. 20 of them were human. Morales turned to the group, cracked his knuckles, and said, "All right, people, let's make this stupid for them." And they did. The humans held the ridge for 4 hours. 4 hours. Against impossible odds. Against overwhelming numbers. Against enemies twice their size. When reinforcements finally arrived, they found humans still fighting, blooded, battered, laughing like maniacs. The Vrax retreated. Not from the army. From the humans. Carvex would never forget that sight. Chapter 8. Years later. Carvex retired, but he still told the stories. Stories of humans walking through fire. Stories of humans joking under artillery. Stories of humans turning fear into fuel. Stories of humans who refused to fall. Once, a new recruit asked him, "Veteran Carvex, why do humans frighten you? They look so harmless." Carvex stared into the distance, remembering screams, gunfire, laughter, and the iron-willed eyes of the species that survived its own world. He answered, "Because they look harmless, and because they are not." The recruit swallowed. Carvex continued, "There is no warrior more terrifying than one who has survived their own history." Epilogue. The question. On his final day of service, Carvex visited Earth. He asked a human veteran, "How did your species become this? How did humans learn to fight like monsters?" The human answered simply, "We didn't learn to fight like monsters. We learned to fight to live." Carvex bowed. He finally understood.